What's up, world? This is your girl P. So, how to understand your love language? How do I understand my love language? Well, we start off with the planet of Venus. Venus is the planet of love, money, beauty, and romance, right? It is how we go about love, how we are at work, how we are when we make money, how we like to make money, how we go after money. It's our love language. And when we talk about love relationships, where we work at is what we love because we get up and go work, and in that environment, you go in there and you have to love it some way, shape, form, or fashion. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing it. And a lot of times it starts off good and turns bad, just like romantic relationships could start off good and it could turn bad. But how to understand you, yourself, and the energy that you carry and how you go about, your love and what makes you happy is that you would need to know what your Venus sign is. And like I tell you always, you look in your birth chart, there's a planet of Venus. And Venus, the two main energies that come from Venus is Taurus and Libra. So those two energies is exalted in that department. So it's like if your Venus is in Libra and your Venus is in Taurus, you have the highest energy there, right? But still, all in itself, we all have a Venus in our birth chart, and whatever zodiac sign is in our Venus placement is our love language. And so, as a disclaimer, as always, I'll use myself as an example so I can describe, how it looks and how the planet of Venus looks and how it works for us all. And so, my Venus is in Aries, or what have you. And Aries is fire energy. It's cardinal energy, but it's fire. And what does cardinal mean? It is direct. It goes one way. It's like this way, right? It takes action. It's action oriented. It's direct. It's fire. But Aries energy, that energy comes from the planet Mars. And Mars is the planet of war, action. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if you have Venus in Aries, you're an action oriented person when it comes to love and work. You know what I'm saying? You take initiative, you take action, you get the job done, you do things, you just go for it. You know what I'm saying? So usually you see people who have Venus and Aries, they're hard workers. They go for what they know. It's just like, I gotta go, I gotta move, I have to go. It's natural for us to be like that. But because when it comes to fire energy, it's passionate. And depending on what you're passionate about is going to be based on your ego, right? So it's like if you have fire energy in your love language and it says like, okay, well, that means I'm passionate, but what am I passionate about? Well, it depends on your ego. So for instance, my ego is Gemini energy, which is communication. So I take action with communication because I'm passionate about communication. And so I take initiative. So I am a go getter. So it means I start things off with communication. That's something, that's my love language is communication. So when I don't get communication in my relationships, it fails because people who have Venus and Aries, because that energy comes from Mars, we don't do good in the love department. Is detriment in Aries because Venus is not comfortable. That energy is not comfortable there. It doesn't do good. So people, women, a lot don't have men too, but and I'm not saying that women are more important than men because we're not, right? But we don't do good in the love department because the energy isn't comfortable there. So our relationships fail in that department. And one would say, well, how is your relationship? My relationship fails because of lack of communication. Something as simple as communication is I it that's so if you was a person who had Venus and Aries, but your ego was in, let's say, I don't know, I'm trying to think. That's why I don't like using other signs as an example, because it's hard for me to try to figure out how another person would be. I only could go by me, so let me not even just do that. Let me just leave that alone and keep it with me. So I got Gemini energy in my ego, and in my I love communication. So that's my love language. I'm passionate about communication. But if a person had their love language was sex, they will be, and they didn't get a lot of sex, but they had Venus and Aries, and their ego was like that, then, and they didn't get it, their relationship would fail because they will have lack of sex. So mine is communication. And you would probably say, you don't get communication? No, I don't, because my energy falls in this department. I might be exalted in intelligence in my mind because I got Gemini energy in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I might be exalted when it comes. I'm not even exalted with my feelings, because even though I have high energy in my moon sign, and Cancer energy rules, the moon rules Cancer energy because that energy comes from Cancer, and I have a Cancer moon. But my feelings is communicate. Everything about me is communication, right? So I lack proper communication in all of my relationships, and that's why my relationships fail, is because I don't get communication. I could get in a relationship and people start off communicating and then they stop. You know what I'm saying? And the only way that the communication keeps going is if I do it. I I have to start it, or I have to keep it going. And that's like a one-sided relationship. So it's an unbalanced relationship. And so people who have Venus and Aries, if they find themselves having struggles in relationships, is because Venus energy is detriment in the love department. It doesn't do well in here because it's always off. You know what I'm saying? Some way, shape, form, or fashion. It usually be with women for some reason. I don't know why it's with women. It's like, because men that have Venus and Aries, they don't want to change. But the women, we are direct, and men don't really like direct women because Venus energy is cardinal. It takes action. So you're a direct woman. It's like you speak up, you initiate conversation. If you see a man that you like, you will step to him and be like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know. And men run from that because they feel like they're being chased or whatever, and it's like this chasing game. It's like, I'm not chasing you, even though in your mind you think that you're being chased. It's like I'm just being myself. And so I started learning, with astrology, is that I had to control my fire, that I had to stop communicating and allow love to come to me. And guess what happened when I stopped doing that in all my relationships? Even though I still reach out and, every now and then, it's like I had to sit there and fall back. And because that's the lesson with my energy, is like, stop initiating and allow love to come to you. And when I do that, it don't come. This is why it falls with Venus and Aries. We suffer because we have to take action, but then we don't feel fulfilled because we're the one doing it all, and the other party ain't doing nothing. And then when we sit back and try to wait for it to happen and come to us, it never comes. So it's like, and I know I'm not the only woman that, if you was to look at your birth chart and you have Venus and Aries in your birth chart, you will understand where I'm coming from. It's like I have to be the one to start everything, and if I sit back and you hate it, and you know you do, and you hate it because it's like, I don't want to be the one to do everything. You running from me, but I want you to take initiative and you won't do it. And it's like you sitting there, you waiting and you waiting and you waiting and you waiting, and it never happens. It's like, you know what? I don't even want it no more. You get turned off because it's a turn off. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and this is why we don't do good in the love department. It has nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Because usually people that see that you're a go-getter, they used to you doing it, so they sit back and want you to do it all the time. But when you're doing it, they running. It's like, I'm sitting here giving you love and you running from it. Now I'm sitting here not giving it to you and then you ain't coming. It's like, I don't even care no more, because to me it's childish. It's playing games. It's like God told me literally, He was like, listen, you're going to have to stop going after love and let love come to you. I'm like, Lord, I'm waiting for it to come. It ain't coming. You know what I'm saying? And God said, well, you waiting for it from the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is, and you need to change directions. You know what I'm saying? But when you understand your energy, you have to be able to control yourself. It's like controlling your ego. You got to control, Aries energy is fire. I got to control my fire, but it's just communication. It's like, so I don't step to men no more and try to, talk to them or whatever when I see somebody I'm interested in. So if I don't say anything, and men are so scary these days, they don't know how to come up to women no more. But they don't want a woman coming up to them, but they so scary they won't even say nothing. It's funny to me, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's frustrating. It's like, I don't even want to deal with this stuff no more, but I'll never let nobody turn me off of love. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? But what I do is now that, and again, I'm not projecting, I'm just explaining how Venus is. So whatever your energy that you have in your Venus is going to be your love language. And it's going to be how you go about love and work and everything. You take initiative, but whatever your love language is what your love language is. Mine is fire. Is Venus and Aries. You know what I'm saying? And I have that Aries energy when it comes to work. It's like I take action. You know what I'm saying? So now that I'm falling back, it's like now these jobs is coming back to me after I quit, and it's like, okay, you had somebody in your midst and you wasn't looking. You know what I'm saying? You see I'm a hard worker. You see what I got. You see what I'm capable of, but you was paying attention to all of them. You was paying attention to all of these, and I'm not calling people nothing, but you was paying attention to people who ain't who don't hardly work as good as me at all. And then soon as I walk away, that's when it's to me, it's an insult. It's an insult. It's a slap in the face. It's all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what? I want somebody to recognize my worth when it's right when you first see it. Cause see, when you take too long to recognize some real stuff, and you take too long, it's like now you see it. Now you see it when I walk away. No, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I had to learn to not take initiative anymore, because most of all the relationships I had is that, you know what I'm saying, I did the initiate. I initiated it. I initiated everything except for one, and that person was running too. Even though they initiated, they the one started it, but you still running. I don't got time to be chasing nobody. You know what I'm saying? I'm too old. So we're like, I don't chase. And I know that they people is looking at it like that. It's my natural energy is to initiate. It's not chasing. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't. It's like I'm not chasing. It's initiative. You got to look up the energy. It's direct. It's it's like Venus and Aries. It's direct. It's upfront. It's initiative. That's it. It don't chase after nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's communication, and it's with mine is communication. So it's like I'll initiate communicating with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Simple stuff like that. And you have grown adult men running from that, it's like, okay, whatever. But anyway, this is my take on it. And again, as a disclaimer, I can only use myself as an example. And I'm only mentioning this is to show you, what the planet Venus represents is your love language, is how you go about making money, is how you go about the matters of the heart, is how you go about, what you love, like how you spend your money and all of that, right? And so when you understand that, the energy that you have in your Venus placement, then you'll see why you experience the things that you do. And not everybody is, their energy falls in this department. Unfortunately, us women with Venus and Aries, we suffer a lot of heartbreak in the department. And you for Venus and Aries women, women who have Venus and Aries, your love language is going to be based on your ego. So whatever your ego you know, is what your love language is. And again, mine is Gemini, which is communication. So that means that my love language is communication. And so lack of communication makes relationships, I suffer in relationships because of lack of communication. And that's how I understand I go after communication in relationships. That's what's more important to me. If anything, it's not money, it's not sex, it's not, you know, nothing but communication. It's like the main thing that's important to me. And it's like when we don't get that, it's like the relationship suffers. And when people really look at the big picture and they realize that I had a lot of relationships, trust me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not a whole lot, but as an adult, I've had, I want to say, 3 major relationships. All the rest of them was like teenager stuff. You know what I'm saying? So with just 3 major relationships. And it suffered for lack of communication. People not communicating right. It's just a lack of communication. And you would probably say, that's it? Yes. Isn't that silly? That is so childish. You can't even communicate, but that's what it is because that's my love language. So when people give me the silent treatment and stuff like that, they do it to break my heart because you don't communicate with me. You're trying to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? Because I love talking. And I'm not going to sit around and talk to myself. So what God tell me? He said, you got to learn how to love yourself. So I found an outlet to communicate, which is my channel, and I share information. I don't charge for it. I don't do anything like that. But I'm communicating. You know what I'm saying? Because I love to communicate. And that's my love language. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fulfilled in my purpose. And that's why you have to answer the call of God for your purpose of your life, because when you answer the call of God, is what he's doing is he's giving you what makes you happy. And teaching and sharing and communicating makes me happy. And I don't need another person to do that because it's something that you could do by yourself. You feel what I'm saying? But this is all I got for you. And I holler though. One love. Peace.